Alright, y'all, welcome back to the Complete Husband's Handbook podcast. My name is Daniel, and this week we're going to be continuing looking at the four aspects of the male archetypes, and we're going to be focusing on the magician. Now, last week, when we spoke about the lover, we saw that the lover's aspect was driven by heightened emotion, both good and bad. With the magician, this is kind of towards when a man is in the later high school going into college years. We have a bit of experience under our belt. We're seeing the world through not as rosy colored lenses. Most of us did. And we're looking towards the future. We're trying to find a career. We're trying to find knowledge. We're trying to find a trade or a craft to dedicate ourselves to. Now, this magician aspect of who we are stems from a desire to master something, to be dedicated, to find hidden knowledge or some kernel of truth that helps us become better, that helps us become stronger, that helps us become knowledgeable about the world around us. Now, when I was in high school, they forced us to read all of these, and by forced I really mean forced us to read these books on theology and sociology and these turn of the century crucible kind of books that were all Puritan and kind of hellfire and damnation. I grew up in a very small southern area, so the more weirder aspects of Christianity kind of controlled the high school. But there was some truth to it. And it got me interested in what makes people tick and why people make certain decisions, good, bad, or indifferent decisions. And it made me want to study people. So in a sense, that was my quote-unquote magician. That was my desire for mastery. And it led me to read anything and everything I can get my hands on about belief systems in people, whether it was mythology, legends, different forms of religion, different aspects of enlightenment, everything from the Greek and Viking myths to shamanism, Judo-Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, just anything and everything I could find having to do with beliefs I studied. Even my own religion, I started to really take a deep dive into it. And really learn what I wanted out of life. And if it was going to help me. And that's really what the magician does. It's that concept of finding what makes you tick by studying what makes other people tick. I have friends of mine who loved cars in high school and college, and they loved to take them apart, rebuild them, see how they worked, see what they did, and each of them tend to specialize as part of their quote-unquote hidden knowledge in a particular type or a particular make of car, whether it was Ford, Chevy, Saturn, Toyota, Hyundai. They would turn them into street racers, whatever. But they always kind of kept something hidden, something back, that when they did race, now mind you this was illegal, but when they did race, they could hit something, whether a switch or double shift or whatever it was, that could give them just that slight edge in overcoming their opponent. Now, the races themselves were fun to watch. I'm not a gear or petrol head. That's just not something I'm into. But the concept is the same, where for me, I wanted to know what made the driver tick. For them, it was what made the car tick. And so it was this thirst for knowledge, this thirst for understanding that drove both them and me in those formidable years. And most of us sought out some form of a mentor, someone who could help us on our way, someone who could educate us through experience, not just academic knowledge. Now, unfortunately, with the magician, seeking out a mentor doesn't necessarily end in good. There are certain people out there who focus on young, impressionable minds, college professors, people online. We see it with several protesting and extreme groups. They find people who are looking for a direction in life, who are willing to throw heart and soul into whatever it is, to study every aspect of it. And they target those people because they know that they're malleable, they are impressionable. And it's this concept that predators look for. So when we're seeking out whatever we like to do, whatever really makes us tick, whether it's, cars, books, movies, video games, that hidden talent we don't particularly share with people. For the longest time, I considered myself a closet nerd. Where I grew up, nerds were an insult. They weren't something to be liked. But at my 15-year high school reunion, which I didn't go to, but it was done on a webcam. A lot of people came out and were like, "Yeah, I grew up and I watched, Star Wars and Star Trek," and they were all closet nerds, but they didn't want to tell anybody because they wanted to be part of the quote-unquote cool crowd. Then when they got into college, they actually realized everyone was a closet nerd or geek. But again, it's those hidden things, it's those hidden talents we have that really thrive in the magician aspect of who we are. And it's that knowledge of, whether it's through work, whether it's through art, whether it's through family, church, that we need to cultivate with a hint of caution. Because there are always those who come in who will say, "I'm going to guide you. I'm going to show you the truth." Be careful of those. Look for people who will guide you the right way. Unfortunately, even with work, you have trainers who don't want to train people because they're scared they're going to lose their job. And in the end, they lose their job anyway because the bosses see that they can't train anybody. So find people who can help you for however long, and delve into that magician's aspect of who you are and the talents you like, and build those talents, and then grow into something more than you currently are. Thank you for joining us.